Hi, my name is Garrett Christopher. This is my YouTube channel, Garrett's Movie Take. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite movies. Well, I always talk about one of my favorite movies, although I did review Shang-Chi last time I did this, and I still have to give you Black Widow. I went to see it once, I fell asleep, not because it was bad. I was tired. And that happens a lot of times when I go to see a movie. So the recipe for disaster for me is if I go to work, decide to go see a movie, eat first, and then go to the movie 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to fall asleep no matter what it is. So Black Widow was very good from what I remember. And I still have to see it again. I'm actually waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray so I can watch it, and then I'll let you know about it. In any case, so please visit my other two YouTube channels. There's Garrett's Take, which is definitely on a serious side. I'm talking about homelessness right now. I'm kind of bearing my soul right now about a couple of things with that and taking you through my journey as an individual and how I can get more involved with my community in helping the homeless. I'm going at a very, very slow snail's pace, and I'm sharing that with you as how I'm dragging my feet, and not really why, because I don't have any excuses. I'd like to have some, but I don't have any. The other YouTube channel is Garrett's Sports Take. We have embarked upon the 2021 NFL season, and I'm really pumped up about this NFL season, maybe because my Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, may actually have a chance to make the playoffs this year. Let's do it. If you get a chance, go to GaretChristopher.com. You'll find out more about me. I'm a self-published author. I've got a couple of audiobooks also out there on Audible. And I do a weekly podcast available both on Soundcloud and Spotify. So please check these out. And when you do, please leave comments for me. I'm not getting any comments. Of course, I don't have any viewers either, but that's besides the point. When you do view, please leave some comments. I have a couple of questions that come up on my sports channel from a couple of friends of mine, just asking silly questions. But Rich and Aaron, I appreciate you, but I need more than just Rich and Aaron. There are a lot. I like those guys, but I need more than that. So please, comments. Okay. So here's what we're going to talk about today. A movie plus an individual. And I talked about this before when I discussed the Blues Brothers. And I think this is the first time that I saw this individual, because I saw the Blues Brothers back when it first came out. I saw it at the movies, actually. This is at a time when we lived next door to some friends, and there were 5 kids. It was just me and my brother. And then 5 kids lived next door. And I got to do a few more things, like go to rated R movies and stay overnight and do some other things that I wouldn't normally have been able to do because of them. Because Tim, who was closest to me in age, was I think a year and a half, 2 years older. He was 2 years ahead in high school. And he got to do things. And because his mama let him do certain things, I got to do certain things. So because of him, I got to go to the movies to see the Blues Brothers. Their mom bought the tickets, and we got to go in and see it. So yeah, I saw the Blues Brothers at the theater. So that would have been my first introduction to John Candy. And then from there, probably didn't think about him too much until this movie, Uncle Buck, came out. And I'd seen him in other things before that time, but Uncle Buck came out, and also saw Uncle Buck in the theater. Had a blast. One of my favorite portions of the movie, and there's a lot. Macaulay Culkin is also in it from Home Alone fame, and Michael Jackson fame. One of my favorite scenes is that when he goes in to speak with Maisie's, is it Maisie's the youngest girl, I think? Anyway, the teacher, because she's saying that the girl is a light heart and she's a silly heart and some other stuff like that. And so Anita Hogarth, I think, was the teacher's name, and she has a big, a little growth right here. So John Candy's character gives it to her pretty good. And on the way into the hallway, that's when Wild Thing from Tone Loc comes on, and he kind of pumps his fist, and off he goes. And that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. A lot of them, though. In that movie, a lot of iconic scenes like that. Iconic guy. So I've got my shirt on here, Orange Whip. That's from Blues Brothers. So in that one, a smaller scene, of course, but he is one of many people who is after the Blues Brothers, trying to capture them because they're doing so many things incorrectly and trying to do the right thing. And at one point, they're in a concert hall, and they're supposed to capture these boys. But this guy decides that he wants to, hold on. I've never heard these boys sing before. Let's see if they're any good. So they take a table, he and 3 other county mounties in the Illinois area, and they decide to hang around and watch the act, and then they'll catch them. They can't go anywhere. They're there. And so while they're sitting there, some lady comes over, he says, orange whip, 3 orange whips. Love it. Gotta love it. So why do I love Uncle Buck? John Candy and everyone else in the movie does a really, really good job. A lot of good characters, comedic characters in there. Macaulay Culkin, of course, is just a great young man. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm not going to go through and critique everything. It's just fun. Get in there. If you haven't seen Uncle Buck, I don't care, young or old, just watch the movie. Although I can say, I think if you're on the younger side, you may not be as intrigued by it. I love Uncle Buck for John Candy, for the writing, for the smooth and easy presentation of the movie. They don't try and force anything at you. There's not a lot of cussing in the movie. There's not a lot of things that are, bad. It's just a nice PG movie that someone can enjoy, and yet it's not some. I mean, John Hughes films like Home Alone, definitely have a message, right? They always kind of bring things back in and kind of get that heartwarming, scene, like in Home Alone. If you haven't seen it, I won't mess around and spoil it for you. But the scene toward the end, same thing here. So John Hughes films always come around and have that, and pull at the heartstrings a little bit. But as the movie goes on, it's just a lot of fun. And I think if any of the roles that John Candy did, by the way, I am a big time John Candy fan, so much so that I even liked Who's Harry Crumb. You got to really like John Candy to like Who's Harry Crumb. Anyway, so just, and when I think of him and I think of his spot in The Blues Brothers, I think about him in Vacation, where he was a little more goofy in that one, right? He's the security guard when they finally get to Wally World. We'll talk about Vacation, by the way, of course, but Wally World, and he's the one that Chevy Chase makes come along on the rides, and so definitely goofy in that respect. But then, like in Home Alone, he's one of the polka kings, polka, 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 and of course he's doing that thing and trying to get. That's eventually how Mama, gets back home to Macaulay, and but in all of these things, it's like this Canadian-born actor, John Candy, was able just to really kind of be himself, and I think that's what I like most. That's what's so endearing to me about Uncle Buck, is that here's this guy, and he wasn't playing the buffoon. He was doing silly things. Like one scene I'm thinking about right now is that he, after his brother calls him in an emergency, he needs to go and babysit his niece and nephews, his nieces and nephew, and he goes into his closet. He's got a little studio apartment somewhere. He goes into his closet and it's just all junk everywhere like that, and he's pulling whatever, and this big bowling ball comes out and bing, bops him on the head. So there are goofy slapstick things like that in there, but for the most part, he's not a buffoon in this movie. He's just a fun-loving guy, and kind of like how I see him. I never met John Candy, never knew him at all. I haven't really read up on what he was behind the scenes, but I don't know, that's kind of how I viewed him, type of thing, right? Just nice, easygoing, wanted to help out. For your birthday, I'll make you a pancake as big as this room, and that's in the movie, by the way, and things like that. It's just a lot of fun. So trust me, if you've not seen Uncle Buck, get some popcorn, get a soda pop, your favorite candy or fruit or whatever vegetable you would do, broccoli, and pop it on and check it out. And like I said, for those that are on the younger side, my kids have watched it. My kids now are in their 30s and 20s. They were fine with it, but it's not one of their favorites because it's not edgy. There's no edge in all comedies these days. It's like there's always this edge to it. It's just a good film. Check it out. Put it on. And some really iconic comments and things in there. And a lot of fun. So, John Candy, I miss you, brother. I think along with you and some other things that took place in the 80s and early 90s, some of that, to me, comedic expertise kind of went away. I'm not saying John Candy was the reason behind it, but characters like that, where it's like, stop trying so hard to be this funny character. Just, if you're funny, you're funny. Chris Rock. When you look at Chris Rock, you start laughing. I do anyway. There's that goofy smile. Truthfully, on Chris Rock's side, the biggest critique I have of him is stop trying to do serious movies. Stop trying to be this detective or this like a crime fighter. You're funny. You're just funny overall. Whatever you say, you could say, butter pecan, and it's funny to me because you just have a funny face. Just for comedians, just be yourself. Just play yourself. be yourself. If you're this rank person like Red Fox was, and whether he was like that behind the scenes on Sanford and Son, he was just this grumpy old man, and yet had this heart of gold, but yet was just like, tough and rough and blah, blah, blah. In John Candy's case, he was just this fun-loving guy who didn't want to hurt anyone, didn't want to be hurt, and sometimes your mouth gets in the way, or you do this or say the wrong things, and blah, 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 and there you go. That's kind of why I like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Because truthfully, yeah, it's definitely over the top, and it's definitely edgy. But I see Larry David as he's kind of being himself, just this guy who keeps putting his foot in his mouth over and over and over again. But stop trying to be this or trying to push the envelope. Man, if you're funny, just be funny and find some good writers who will put some things together for you, and then you infuse and do whatever, and there you go. I'm still trying to get a hold on why comedies today aren't as funny, as far as I'm concerned, as comedies before. Not that there aren't funny things out there. I'm not saying that. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it seems to me like the writing, first of all, but then also just do it. If you're funny, you're funny. The way you look, the way you act, your mannerisms. But it's like we want to go, if we talk louder, if we cuss more, if we move our bodies a certain way and gyrate, and that makes it funny. If we make certain facial expressions and force them, instead of just being silly. Kristen Wiig has funny expressions. When she overdoes them, it's like that's not any funnier to me than when you just are, whatever goofy expression you have on your face. I think Tina Fey is a good example of someone who's just be yourself. You're just kind of funny. You found your niche in certain things, and 30 Rock worked like that, and anything else you do, you just, there it is. Find it, go with it, and stop trying. And writing, let's get some good writing in there. Let's get some good creative writing. Create a movie where people can talk about it 20, 30 years from now. We'll see. All right. Is this one of those get off my lawn? I think it is, isn't it? Do me a favor. If you haven't seen it yet, check out Uncle Buck. All right? For sure. John Candy, we miss you, brother. And Google him, other things that he's been in. Just go on to YouTube for my channel specifically, but also to kind of view what John Candy's got going on there. Funny stuff. But you got to see him in context. He's not a quick 1 minute, quick, oh, funny, ha, ha, ha. Watch the movie, please. Hey, thanks so much for viewing in. Please check out my other YouTube channels, Garet's Take and Garet's Sports Take, football. Come on, Miami. And in fact, we're going to be playing the New England Patriots here in about 4 hours, so I'm really jazzed about that. But there you have it. Hey, have a great day. Take care. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording.